There was one night that Kelenvar remembered well. It was a rare night of boyish joy and a grim struggle for survival. A time Kelenvar held dear. Kelenkir had run down a runty little boy, one of a gang thieves. There had been nothing for them to eat for several days, and the boy made a welcome feast. Eat, 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 Kelenkir said. There's plenty. We sleep with full bellies tonight. Kelenvar remembered crying as he bit into the flesh. Not for the fate of the boy they devoured, but for the hunger that bit at his belly. He had never tasted anything so sweet in his life. Kelenkir's eyes glowed in the firelight. I'll look after you, little Kel. I always will. Kelenvar nodded solemnly back, meat juice running down his chin, the scraps in his stomach mercifully abating. Their den was a smoky hollow, pegged out of the wall of a hab tower. It was one of the great pillars of Kemno district, the base rooted in the murk far below, the spreading penthouses of the top pressed against Nostramo's rocky sky. They lived like rats, only 50 stories up from the dangers of the cavern bottoms, close enough to the deep streets to hunt, high enough to remain concealed. There was enough room for them to sleep curled on their beds of rags, a space for their meager belongings, room for a fire of bones and rubbish. They set it always at the back of the den. The acrid fumes hurt their noses and eyes, and lent what little food they could scavenge the taste of burnt plastic. But they dared not light it close to the tear in the building to let out smoke and light to betray them. So they endured it, exchanging the certainty of a swift death today for a slow end by inhaled poison tomorrow. It was safe in their artificial cave, safer than the home they had fled, safer than the streets. The fate of the boy they were eating testified to that. Kelenkir smiled at his brother. The brutality of their life had already entered his soul, hardening his eyes. But his virtue had yet to flee completely, and he had been kinder then. An explosion outside had them cowering. Flashes of light made them cover their eyes and moan in terror. Gangs fought nightly in the streets. There had been a time of peace. It had been rumored when the Night Hunter cowed the planet through righteous terror. Kelenvar naively believed all the stories and whispered to the Night Hunter in the night that he might come and save him. But these explosions were not gunshots. Faint music played between the bangs. Kelenkir risked a look outside. He drew back quickly, smiling wildly at his brother. He beaconed him. Come look, little Kel, look. Kelenvar came to the hole in the wall. He trusted Kelenkir completely. The atmosphere outside was soupy with pollution, but better than that of the cave. Kelenvar coughed. His brother rubbed his back until it stopped. Look up. Patterns of light burst in the sky, low yield, not too bright for Nostrum and I, all blue and deep violets edging into the very far end of the visible spectrum. What is it? Asked Kelenvar, still afraid. A celebration, said his brother. A lordling's naming day, perhaps. Father used to tell me about the rich folk in the upper levels. He was a server to them, before the bad times. Neither of them ever spoke of the disease that had taken their mother and broken their father's mind, turning him from parent to wreck, then, finally, to fiend. The music grew louder. A slender cave ship passed along between the spires of Kenmo, brilliant light of gold and blue and green flickering over the filth-crusted lower city. Let it be known this day the eldest son of House Skarvoik takes his lord name. Let it be known Gendor Skarvoik. Gendor Skarvoik. Hail, hail, hail. Low-yield lasers crossed the sky. Fireworks boomed around the craft. The boy shrank back, their sensitive eyes narrowed and hands clapped over their ears. They laughed at the display, still, taking pleasure in the thrill of the boom, the searing light patterns and their own startled reactions to both. The cave ship slid on by. Images played over its long hull, showing celebrations in a place the boys would not believe existed if they were not displayed before them. A young man's face, not much older than Kelenkir, featured prominently. Kelenkir stood and reached out a hand. Come on, let's dance, he said, laughing, and hauled his little brother to his feet. They danced with the unself-conscious abandon of children to the music of the faraway ball while ultraviolet stars burst all around. They laughed freely, for the first time in months, safe in the knowledge the noise of the display would mask their delight. Several times in the following years, Killenvar had brought this event up, hoping to kindle some recognition in his brother. When he was well disposed to his sibling, Kellenkir had maintained that he did remember. But when he joined in the story, it was only repetition of what he already had been told. Kellenkir's eyes told Killenvar that he could not remember the fireworks. As Killenvar retold his memory again and again, it lost its vitality. It permanently fixed itself, becoming a Space Marine's cast iron remembrance of a memory rather than a mutable living recollection. That was one detail he never shared with Kellenkir. Kellenkir reveled in the fireworks with the joy of the damned. Killenvar's enjoyment was slightly restrained. As they danced and cackled at the noble's display, his eyes strayed to the small fire, to the delicate long bones toasting within, and the lump under the cloth of the far side. Now his hunger was sated. He could not help but think that the boy they ate might have liked the fireworks too.